Such a basic dish, but it's so good, and you have to have it with some rice.
Gotta.
You gotta. Hi everybody, it's Bill from The Walks of Life, and today I'm gonna show you how to make a Chinese restaurant classic, chicken and broccoli in brown sauce. It's quick, it's easy, and best of all, I'm gonna show you exactly how it's done in the Chinese restaurants. So in the restaurant, speed was key when those orders come flying in. So the most important thing is have everything prepped, your broccoli, your chicken, your sauce. Once you get everything prepped, boom, it comes out real quick. All you need is your Chinese pantry essentials. Light and dark soy sauce, oyster sauce, sesame oil, Shaoxing wine, some garlic, some ginger, white pepper, a little cornstarch. And with those basic ingredients, you can cook hundreds of dishes. If you're gonna make chicken with broccoli in a white sauce, you wanna use this clear rice wine. That's just a note because we are gonna show you also how to make the chicken and broccoli in a white sauce in a video coming soon. And of course, we have our broccoli and we have chicken breast. You can use chicken thighs, of course, if you prefer. And we need chicken stock, which today we're just gonna mix up with some hot water and chicken bouillon. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is to prep the chicken. It's always best to have the chicken at least cold in the fridge, but even better yet, if it's in the freezer and it's slightly frosty where it's firm but not frozen solid. I'm gonna bring out our meat board and we're gonna measure out 12 ounces of chicken. You kind of want to cut against the grain because you want the chicken tender. So what I usually do is I angle it this way and I cut pieces. You can see the grain, the lines going across here and over here. And they don't have to be exactly perpendicular, but we're cutting these at an angle, so we're getting a little bit of a cross cut. You want to cut them about 1/8 of an inch. You don't want the pieces too big, but you don't want them too small either. These are about the right size. Now that we have our chicken cut, I'm going to tell you the difference between a mediocre chicken with broccoli and a restaurant quality chicken broccoli is velveting your chicken. I'm going to show you how to do it here, but if you want a lot more details, we do have a YouTube video on how to velvet your chicken that gives you far greater detail and processes on how to do it. So many people have seen that video and started velveting their chicken and they say it's a game changer. Now, one of the most important ingredients for velveting your chicken is water because everyone likes a moist chicken. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of water to this 12 ounces of chicken. We're gonna add a flavoring agent, which in this case, I prefer a tablespoon of oyster sauce, but if you don't have oyster sauce, you can use soy sauce. We're going to also add a teaspoon of cornstarch and a teaspoon and a half of oil. You're gonna actually massage this chicken and all the water is gonna get absorbed into the chicken. And you're gonna need to let this sit for at least 20 minutes. You could let this sit in the refrigerator overnight as well. So now that we have our chicken marinating, we can cut our broccoli, and you've got a couple of choices. You can buy these whole broccoli. Some people like the stems, like me. I like to eat the stems. Sarah actually has a recipe where you can use these stems for a stir fry, so be sure to check that out. Or if you don't like the whole stem thing, you can buy broccoli crowns. They're a little bit more money, but all you have to do is cut these into little bite-sized pieces. These broccoli crowns have already been rinsed. What I like to do is just cut this in half from the top. And then now you can cut these little florets off until you get bite-sized pieces. These are too long, you can cut these off. If you don't like these stems, you can put them into soups, eat them separately, or you can just throw them in. Did you know that these stems actually have the same amount of nutrition? Maybe slightly less, but then again, they have more fiber than florets, which is also a good thing. So eat your broccoli stems. Now that we have our broccoli cut, we're gonna work on the aromatics. 2 cloves of garlic. Smash this garlic, roughly chop it. In the restaurant, we had all of this prepared. Our chicken in a cold table. We had the garlic sitting in a little bit of oil near the wok station, and we had our sauce pre-mixed up. Now, this is a little ginger. Ginger is optional. You know, about 1/4 teaspoon or so. I love to use this microplane. The grating is good, or you can smash it. Give it a little tap. So now that we have everything cut, we'll make the sauce. So we start off with our chicken stock, which we're gonna make using about 1 teaspoon, maybe a little bit less, about 3/4 of a teaspoon, 2/3 of a cup. And this bouillon will give the sauce a better flavor because it is a little bit seasoning in there. And we have 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, a teaspoon of sesame oil, stir that in there, 2 teaspoons of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of regular soy sauce. And we need some white pepper, about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and our sauce is ready. So now that we have our sauce, we're gonna make our cornstarch slurry. We're gonna mix 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And I actually always like to make a little bit extra. And please, everybody, don't tell me that, oh my God, I poured the whole slurry in there and it became a goopy mess and too thick. You have to use what you need. So I wanted to show you the velveted chicken after about 30 minutes. There is no standing liquid. Everything has been absorbed. So for those of you in the comments who said, hey, I had my chicken and there was way too much liquid, and when I poured it in the wok, it was just a sticky mess. Well, probably you didn't let that chicken sit long enough or didn't give it enough time to absorb the liquid. So we're at the wok now. We've got all of our ingredients in front of us and we're ready to go. So first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna blanch the broccoli. Then we sear the chicken. We're gonna cook the sauce. We're gonna put the chicken back, put the broccoli back, and plate it. Pre-cooking everything individually allows you to cook everything to perfection because chicken cooks at a different rate, the broccoli cooks at a different rate. A lot of these woks that we actually use in Chinese restaurants have this little hollow handle so it doesn't get super hot, but you do have to use a dry cloth. And the beauty of these woks is that they're super thin. Even at home, if you have a good flame, these woks heat a lot faster than those heavy woks that you see a lot. So our water is boiling. You want to make sure that it's boiling at a good rate. So we're going to pour this in. Make sure everything is submerged. And this will cook for 1 minute if you like your broccoli just done, or 2 minutes if you like a softer broccoli. This is about a minute or so. It's nice bright green, but still a little bit crunchy. So it's perfect. We're going to take it out.
You need an ice bath?
I don't need an ice bath because we're gonna cook this right away. I'm gonna make sure that the excess water is off here and we're just gonna let it drain. Okay, so now we're gonna sear the chicken. So I wanna get this wok screaming hot. And again, this chicken, I'm gonna pre-mix it. It's quite moist, so I wanna make sure that I get enough oil in there. So now we've got 2 tablespoons of oil in there. Make sure it's coated nicely. We're gonna lay our chicken. Spread it out in 1 layer. And then you're not gonna touch it. But you can see once you start with enough oil in there, the chicken is moving.
Hot wok, cold oil.
Hot wok, cold oil. So we're gonna cook the chicken to just about 90% done, almost done, because things are gonna go so fast later. All right, we're ready to take this out. Smells great. So now we set this chicken aside, beautifully seared. We're gonna add a little bit more oil. I'm gonna add this garlic. You don't want it really browned at all. Stir up the sauce and just pour it right in. And we'll turn up the heat so we can get this cooking. And what this does is it deglazes the wok and you get all that chicken goodness into your sauce. I'm gonna put a little bit of Shaoxing wine now after it starts to heat up around the perimeter of the wok. Get a little sizzle going there. Next, I'm going to stir and thicken the sauce a little bit. Okay, and now I'm gonna pour this chicken back in with all the sauce, all the juices, and then I'm gonna pour our broccoli. And this is exactly restaurant style. You see how there's no sauce on the bottom and everything is just sticking to the chicken? That's where you want it. And this is how we did it at the restaurant. We just slid everything in. Scrape the rest of the sauce in there. And that is our chicken and broccoli in a brown sauce, restaurant style. And I'm gonna spoon myself some, just enough sauce. Look at that. Oh yes. And you know what? I always love the broccoli in this chicken and broccoli. So I'm gonna eat that first. Perfect crunch. I can just taste a little bit of that grated ginger. Nothing fancy. Anybody can make this at home. You've got the recipe, you've got the restaurant method on how to make this, so enjoy it at home. So if you like chicken and broccoli in brown sauce and you enjoyed the video, give us a like on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and visit us on thewoksoflife.com for more of your favorite Chinese recipes.
You missed the thanks, folks.
Thanks, folks.